Hey, everybody. Jason Blummer with Thrival Network. This is going to be a lot of fun to talk through debunking some wrong beliefs about growth. We do this with CPA firm owners or any kind of firm owner in the Thrival Network, where we coach and teach and provide a community for these entrepreneurial firm owners to help them grow. And growth is tricky, so we write a lot about growth. We experience a lot of growth together. Of course, my partner and I run Thrival together, but we also run our own firm, which is Blummer and Associates CPAs. I've been leading that for close to 15 years. Well, I guess this year is going on 15 years. Now, the firm was started in 97, and we went virtual about 6 years ago. So I produce a lot of content on podcasts and things like that about growth, about firm growth. So just look for Thrival anywhere on the internet, or look for me and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too. Do a lot of videos on growth there. So this is a fun course. Of course, I'm going to be talking a lot about debunking these myths from my own experience. So what my partner and I have gone through are the things we're going to be discussing. So I'll share some stories through some things we tried to do and didn't understand what we were doing in growth and what we've learned from those. So here's basically the 5 myths we're going to debunk together today. With those 5 reasons your practice may not be growing, let's kind of dive in to our first one. There's only one way to run a firm. And really, basically, that's just saying traditionally in our profession, there is typically one way firms are run. It's very traditional. And that is that the owners of the firm are often the people that do a lot of the technical work in the firm. So I think it's just understood, billing by the hour, the partner does all the tax review, those kind of things. But really, the trajectory of a firm owner is to move away from, to leave. They're meant to leave doing the work. You're eventually supposed to let go of the technical work that firm does, and the owners typically move into a CEO type role. So firms are really structured wrong. So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneurial firm owner, I want to grow our firm," we would say that firms are often structured wrong to enable that growth. So it's not that maybe the current firm structure would change. Like if a siloed partnership would come to us and say, "We want to grow," we might go, "Well, we may want to look at the structure of your firm and see if actually it is set up correctly." And so by siloed, we mean you can have multiple partners, right? And they kind of treat their own clients as their clients. They even talk about, these are my clients, those are your clients, and you work for that partner or you work for this partner. That's really a siloed view to building a company. And that's not how companies are structured accurately so that you grow in an entrepreneurial way. So what is an entrepreneurial firm? Sometimes I call it an entrepreneurial accounting organization, kind of transforming your firm into this EAO, this entrepreneurial accounting organization. And doing that means you're going to build a leadership team, like a CEO, a CFO, a CMO, these kind of management leadership, where the CEO is tasked with the role of visionary, with growth, and maybe a COO comes alongside that COO and executes a lot of the strategy that comes from the vision of the CEO. These are structures of entrepreneurial organizations that actually can handle growth. They can create visions and push out executions. But siloed partnerships often are really their own many little CEOs all sitting inside the company. So they all probably believe different things, and they're not coming together to be structured in a way that will actually grow a firm. Like if you have a traditional firm that's siloed, kind of split up, and each partner is running their own business their own way, what you're going to find is competing visions, and companies cannot grow with competing visions. So that's one reason a firm can't grow, is because people believe there's one way to run a firm. So we kind of talked about this. All companies, including firms, need a leader. and someone with the ability to execute that long-term vision and planning. So you need one leader, really. We've heard of co-CEOs before, but these siloed partnerships are like co-CEOs, and that really is not how entrepreneurial organizations are structured to work. So you need one leader that's tasked with the growth of the company, and that's what I mean by structuring a company in the right way. So let's keep diving in. So if that's true, if traditional structures, siloed mentality is not what creates the structure and the environment and the context to grow, then what do you have to do? Well, restructuring is part of a skill that you grow in as you grow your firm. So our firm is up to about 11 people now. And what we have to constantly do is restructure the firm. Not that we want to, because that's complex and it does cause disruption for clients and team. But what we're always doing is we're figuring out right people, right seats. That's kind of, that's a concept that a lot of people have heard about. And that's what you're always trying to achieve. And as a firm grows, you find out that a lot of your team are not in the right seats. That's a possibility. It might be that they're right people. They're a right team and a fit for a culture, but they actually may need to be doing a different job. So that's what we mean by restructuring, is always looking at what do you have now and going, what else are we not seeing that we should have? And restructuring is about moving people around, and you do that in very methodical ways. You do a lot of planning when you're moving teams around, because again, that is disruptive to clients and your team. So restructuring your firm is a key to continuous improvement in whatever business model you operate under. Now, where do you get the insights to restructure, or where do you get the insights to know if your business model works well? Well, listening to your clients gives you that insight. A lot of times they can just say, hey, what you sold me, this commitment of this maybe concierge services, this high value service that you sold me when we became a client is not really working out because that person doesn't respond to me or care for me in ways that feel like this high value service. So your clients are the ones that can help you know, they can give you the insight to know if you need new layers of leadership or how you deliver your services in different ways. They can give you insights into building brand new roles in your firm. And really that's part of restructuring. Restructuring in a firm a lot of times is looking at your current model and going, what do we not see? And a lot of times you'll create brand new roles just out of nowhere. That's the job of the leadership team. And if you have competing little mini CEOs all siloed in their own way, they're not all going to typically come together and go, yeah, we need to commit some salary and take a risk to have this new leadership person in place. They typically won't commit to those kind of things. But creating brand new roles, the creativity behind creating brand new roles in your firm is what can make you competitive as you move forward. So some stories of us kind of building our current firm model in efforts to restructure. We did it last year. So my partner and I, again, as a firm grows, you have more people, especially in a service-based industry. You have to care for people. That's what the leaders do. So I'm the CEO and my partner is the COO. She and I care for our team. That's what we do. That's a large part of our role. And the larger a company gets, the more the leadership, though they do design visions and growth, they care. They do a lot to care for the team. That's a lot of their role. Well, we're caring for more and more people, and so we started seeing the need for a new layer of leadership in our firm to assist us, right? It was us and then all the team. So all the needs they have of technical questions, of serving clients, of out-of-scope work, trouble with this client, anything like that were things that we had to deal with, one-on-one. And that became harder. So we started seeing this middle layer, these director layers. And if we could put these directors in place, and again, these were brand new roles. So director of operations and director of technical services. So we want to split up basically some roles my partner and I were sharing together, which she does a lot of operations, and that was becoming too much for her, and that happens as you grow. And I was still managing not only the vision, sales, and the growth and things like that of the firm, but also some of the technical things too. Though the team did a lot of the technical work, they still have technical questions. And so we delegated these roles to two new directors, and we pulled these directors out of our current firm. Now, we could have hired those from outside, right? But we pulled them inside because of their commitment to our culture. Culture, is a big part of our firm. It's a big part of delivering the voice of our brand. So we wanted to hire from within. And so at first we did bring a small firm into our firm. We bought another small firm with a leader we thought would be that leader, and that person left. So our move to restructure kind of blew up in our face. It didn't work out. But you know what? What we did is we turned to these director roles, which were kind of to replace our original idea of buying a firm with a leader that would want to become a leader. So we had somebody from outside do that. So we're still working through developing directors. Now we're working on and seeing the deep need of having to care for directors and what it means to teach them to be directors, what it means to teach them how to interact with the team. So that's a big part of what we're doing now. And honestly, it's a little bit more than we thought to just develop those directors. But it is something we're committed to, and we know that the commitment to developing these kinds of roles pays huge dividends later on. But it is a later commitment that you get these values from. So that's really debunk myth number one. There's one way to run a firm. Actually, it's not true. There's a lot of ways to run a firm, and every firm can restructure and build leadership roles and divisions and people and move people around in whatever way they see fit, whatever supports their business model. So just keep that in mind. You get to be creative. You get to build whatever business model you want. You can create the roles, give them titles, whatever you want to call them. That's important.